What's up, guys? Currently in the fabrication stages of the driver's side frame rail here. At the moment, I've got my section of 3" by 3" box tube plug welded in. I've got a couple of plug welds on the side here, a couple of plug welds over there, and then a few on the top of the frame rail over here. The next step is going to be to add a couple of L brackets on the inside over here and on the other side to kind of brace the rear section up, and then I'm going to plug weld those in. And then I'm going to add a piece of L brace underneath over here, plug weld that in, weld it to the piece of square tube. Once all the bracing is in place and plug welded in, that piece should structurally be pretty sound. And from that point on, I'm going to pretty much surround it with sheet metal and pretty up a little bit. The sheet metal, excuse me, will add some structure and also make it look nice and more like a factory frame rail instead of just a piece of square tube welded in there. So I'll start making the L channels, get those welded in, and next step is going to be to finish it off with sheet metal. Let's get going. Alright, guys, this was a long week making this frame rail. There were quite a few days where I had wanted to get work done, and the majority of the day turned into basically me laying underneath the car staring aimlessly at the frame rail. But I finally did it. I finally was able to scratch my head enough and get it figured out. So I'm just going to run through real quick and show you pretty much what I did here to get the driver's side frame rail complete. Now keep in mind, it's not 100% done. It's done structurally, but it's not done finish wise, because there is going to be sheet metal going from one side to the other, all welded to the factory frame rail, and that's going to add a little bit of structure, but it's mainly going to be for looks. It's going to dress it up. It's going to make it look like a factory frame rail. So this is more the structural end. But anyways, I've got my piece of 3" by 3" 120 wall square tube. that is plug welded in 4 spots on the front section here, and then I believe in 6 spots at the rear section. Now, bringing you guys over here, and I've got my handy little flashlight. Now, if you look inside the frame rail, hopefully you can see the gussets in there. I've got an L bracket here and an L bracket on this side. Those are actually also plug welded from the outside, with 2 spots here, and then right between the 2 pieces of metal I've got another couple plug welds to pretty much half hit the gusset and then half hit the main box steel. And it's the same thing over here. I'll bring the camera over and show you guys the other side in a minute. But I've got another piece of 1-inch square tube inserted underneath the main frame rail section. Another 2 plug welds onto that, and then 2 plug welds halfway between to kind of secure them into place. So let me show you guys the other side, and hopefully I can lay down and not get filthy for one time in my life. But anyways, okay. Now, looking up at the other side of the frame rail here, you can see this is the piece of square tube I inserted. Welded all along the upper section, welded all along the bottom section. The piece of square tube, if you look up here, is welded along the main piece I added, and then it's welded down here. The weld down here is attaching it to an internal brace. There's actually, this side steel here was 2 layers. This brace was a whole brace that attaches to all different points along the front of the subframe, and it was for the gearbox. It's an added brace from the factory. It's supposed to strengthen the whole front section of this frame rail here for the gearbox. So what I did was I drilled out the couple factory spot welds, because this piece of metal used to kind of be angled down here. Drilled out the spot welds, broke this outer section free from that section, and I was able to hammer it up nice and flush against the square tube. Welded that all flush, welded it along the front, and then re-welded all the factory spot welds. So that should be nice and strong now. I've also got on the top section here, there's a couple of plug welds here holding that in place. And then let me move over here, and actually I hope this video is coming out good, by the way. I don't think I've ever had to pull the GoPro this close before. But anyways, you can see the back side of the frame rail. This is simple stuff. It's pretty much just seam welded along the whole frame rail. I made a little insert, little 1/8-inch plate insert up here to fill that gap. Welded that all in. And then you can see the plug welds up here for the inner gusset. This piece here is it's actually off the Corvette frame rail. This mounts the Corvette crossmember, and this isn't done yet. This is all going to be boxed in. You know, there's going to be pieces of steel bracing this all up, but the Corvette frame rail doesn't actually fit, or the Corvette crossmember doesn't fit flush against this piece here. It actually sits out about 1 inch. So this is going to be a whole contraption that comes out and spaces that crossmember so it's in the center, but I'll have to do that once I get it bolted back in. But anyways, that's the completed frame rail. All I have left to do really is figure out a nice, neat way to close this all off with the 14 gauge sheet metal. I'll probably, let me come back out here. What I'll probably end up doing is just making a piece of sheet metal that goes all the way, follows the top of the piece I added, angles up to here, and then pretty much goes from that little curve there straight across and meets back up with there. And that'll just be a nice filler plate to block off this whole area, make it look nice and factory. And then underneath, I'll probably end up extending this out, mating it up to the piece I build off of this. And this will kind of all be boxed in with factory sheet metal. I'll probably add the little lip there, that, excuse me, little pinch weld lip. But it'll look nice when it's done. But that's where I'm at. The frame rail's done. It feels awesome to have it done. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, at least. Probably not for the next few nights because I'll find some other problem I get wrapped up in. But for now, it's looking good. Structure-wise, it's good to go. And yeah, next step is going to be pretty much dressing it up and making it look like a nice factory frame rail. And then off to the passenger side, which should be a lot easier because the passenger frame rail is a nice even rectangle. None of the weird shapes going on because of the gearbox mounted on this side. Alright, so we just had a little GoPro malfunction there. To be honest with you guys, it's actually like, I think 2 o'clock in the morning here, 2:30 in the morning. And I was doing laundry, I was awake, and I said to myself, you know what? I need to finish my video for this week because I haven't done that yet. So I took the GoPro out, and that's what I'm doing, and it actually sounds like it's about to tip over again. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this video. So again, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully this will start looking pretty for the next video. Talk to you guys later.